Why hello! I am back with my House of Hades video, which I promised you guys. House of Hades is so good. And also, this will be full of spoilers, so if you have not read House of Hades, leave. Leave. Okay? I will be right back, and when I come back, y'all have better left if you have not read House of Hades. Okay? And I'm back, so be gone, people, unless you guys are just such freaking rebels and you stayed. But yeah. Okay, I liked how there was really no particular order in how the POV was working. So it was kind of like Hazel, then Piper, and then it would be Annabeth or Percy. So even though it switches off, there was always this pattern of we would go back to Tartarus with Percy and Annabeth. And I actually really liked that because I wanted to see what Tartarus was like. And the way Rick Riordan wrote it, he made Tartarus a place that seemed like it was living. A lot of the references to it was that the monsters were kind of just fleas or pimples on the body of Tartarus, and that's like kind of like a really vivid image because it makes you realize how big of a place Tartarus really is. I thought that was really cool. And then in the end you see Tartarus come to life. Why don't we start off with how the book started? Not even just with the POV or anything, but Rick Riordan put a note, and he was like, "To my wonderful readers, I'm so sorry for that last cliffhanger. Ha 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 ha, not really. But seriously, I love you guys." I like laughed when I read that. I was like, gee, thanks Rick Riordan. Because Mark of Athena, as you guys know, we were literally left at a cliffhanger. Not even a cliffhanger. They fell off the cliff. So we fell off the cliff. We weren't just hanging, and we're just like, what? No way. What I like about this book though is the way it ended kind of had a little bit more closure. It wasn't like, oh, and then war started, and then cuts there, and then, yeah, because the past couple of books has been like that, like with Son of Neptune. Literally, right when Annabeth and Percy are supposed to meet up, it ends. I remember just flipping through the pages, and I was like, no, this can't be it. There has to be more. Like, they're finally about to meet, and you end it right there. And he has been doing that a lot. And then in the first one, in The Lost Hero, how it ended was when we realized that Percy was actually in the New Rome camp. And I'm just like, you can't stop there. So Rick Riordan, God, I hate you, but it's like I love you at the same time. And then when we first get back to Annabeth and Percy, they're still falling from the cliff. And they were saying something like, someone said it takes 9 days to actually fall into Tartarus. And then Annabeth was like, I don't remember how many days we've been falling, blah, blah, blah. Despite it all, her and Percy were still holding hands, and they weren't letting go of each other. And she whispered in his ear, I love you. I'm just like, so much Percabeth going on, and oh, they are so cute. And then let's talk about these dwarves, right? I don't remember who told Hazel. Was it Hecate? I don't know how to say her name. Told her that there was gonna be these dwarves that you're gonna meet, and then you're gonna see this treasure. And those dwarves are so funny. But when they stole all of everyone's stuff from the ship, I was like, no, you can't, like, they need all of this. And then they took Leo's tool belt, and I'm like, you ain't gonna do that. And Leo's just, I love Leo so much. He's like, no, I'm not letting you get away with this, and he's running to them. And then I don't remember which dwarf was it. I think it was Ackman, I don't know how to say his name. He was like, I knew you were a good person. I shall call you Blackbottom the Seagull. Oh my gosh, I was laughing my ass off during that part. And there were also some really cute parts in this, like with Hazel and Hades. Well, technically Pluto with Hazel. I don't know, sometimes I feel like their Roman counterparts are a lot nicer. Even though they might not visit their kids as much, they feel like they have more emotion to them than the Greek gods or their Greek counterpart. And he was telling her, you know, sometimes the best way for me to show my care for my kids is, you know, to keep my distance. And I thought that was really sad, because, you know, it's kind of like loving your kids from a distance. Like, part of me sympathizes for Pluto, but then I hate Hades, so yeah. But that was really sweet. And then the part where, I think they're called Araya, I don't know what they're called, but when Percy and Annabeth were fighting these, I really don't know what they are, spirits, monsters, I don't know. but fighting them, right? And every time you kill one, they get a curse from the person that Percy killed, and they're telling Percy, you know, you've killed so many monsters. There's all these curses that have been made to you. And you know the one that really, really made me sad was with Calypso. When Annabeth got that curse that she could never be with the one she loved, and that Calypso had cursed Percy because he left her on the island. I was just like, no. And Percy's just like, no, like, Calypso wouldn't curse me. She wouldn't do that, but she did. And I was so sad. I was really, really sad for Calypso and also for Percy. And what I also really liked about those curses is that, like, all of a sudden there was, like, all these montage scenes of all of the monsters that he has killed since day one, since the Lightning Thief, and I thought that was really cool. And in some of the book 2 videos that I watched, they made a good point, and I would have loved to see Medusa. That would have been really cool, but it wasn't in the book, but still, like, that would, I would have loved to see that. Okay, let's talk about Nico. Okay, Nico was really, really bitter, and he was kind of a huge loner in this book. And I really don't know what happened to him. I guess I can deduce it to the fact that he was in Tartarus for a whole month by himself, which kind of makes sense why he would be bitter, and he didn't have anyone with him. So at least even though Percy and Annabeth are in Tartarus, they had each other, you know, they had each other's back, and Nico was alone, and he's always been alone, and I can kind of understand where he's coming from. And then when they were talking to Cupid, he was like, the one that you care for the most is in Tartarus. Okay, my first initial reaction was, Annabeth? He loves Annabeth? What? And then Jason was also like, oh yeah, he must like Annabeth more than I thought. So that kind of confirmed my idea that Nico was in love with Annabeth. And then I find out it wasn't Annabeth he was in love with, it was Percy. Percy and Nico. That was such like a twist of events, like a turn of events that I never expected from Rick Riordan. But you know, like, it kind of makes me feel for Nico more. It's not that he wants Annabeth, he's jealous of Annabeth. And also Nico was the one who went to Bob and told him, Percy's a good person, you should go help him. And now it makes me realize that even though Nico, he's really like a loner, he still really does care. And he pretends to not care about Percy, but he obviously does. Speaking of Nico too, this is before I found out he was gay. You know what, maybe he's not gay, maybe he's bisexual, who knows. There's this one story that I read. I actually read it a really long time ago, and I finally found it today because after reading House of Hades, I was like, oh, I need to find that fanfiction. It's a fanfiction between Rachel Dare, which she actually shows up really, like, just a glimpse in this House of Hades book, and Niko. So pairing between Rachel and Niko, and it's actually really, really cute and really, really sweet. And if you want to read that fanfiction, I will link it down below. It's really cute. I swear, you guys should go read it. Now there's this whole thing between Leo and Jason where Gaia is either gonna fall to Storm or Fire. And Storm is Jason and Fire is Leo. But then I feel like Storm could also either be Percy or Percy and Jason together. So we'll see how that works out in the last book. Now this was a really, really cool concept. Now this was a concept that I found really interesting. While Percy wants to be in New Rome, Jason wants to be in Greek. It's a really cool idea because, you know, when Jason lost all of his memories, he kind of regained all of it back in Camp Half-Blood, and he had all these Greek people, and he realized, you know, that the Greek are much more like a family than the Roman camp is, and he was like, I can see my life there with Piper, you know, we're gonna be together. And then while on the other hand, Percy wants to be in New Rome with Annabeth, and he wants to be part of those families that they live together and they have generations and generations. I thought that was just really cool. Both Percy and Jason fell in love with these camps that they were put into by Hera. Okay, Leo and Calypso. When Keone sent him up, I was like, where's Leo, blah, blah, blah. And then he falls in an island. I knew immediately it was Calypso's island. I just knew it. Like, that was a place where he had to have been sent. Like, where else would he go? I love their first meeting because Calypso's like, you broke my dining table. And Leo's like, okay, yeah, I broke it, but let's talk about the fact that this is outside. Like, who puts a dining table outside in the beach? So I thought that was really funny and it was really cute. I love their relationship. I ship them so hard. Because, you know, like, all the other boys that Calypso has met, she didn't hate them, like, at first sight. Eventually, she actually, you know, she does fall in love with them. And then, Leo, they just kind of had like this annoying, like they both annoyed each other and they just always had this banter between them. But then as soon as she started like doing all these little things like making clothes for him and giving him food, I was just like, huh, this is such a potential love story, and they have to be my favorite part of this book, other than Percy and Annabeth. But I love Leo and Calypso, and Leo is like, I'm gonna come back for you, and she's like, you can't, and he's like, because you don't want me here? And then Calypso's like, no, and like you could hear that, yes, I do want you to be here. But she's like, you know, no man finds Ogygia more than once. Like, you find it once and you can never come back, but I swear to you, he will find her in the next book. He better find her. I do not want this to be loose, and they need to be in love. And I also read a fanfiction between the two of them, which was really, really cute, and I will link that down below. It's actually the same author who wrote the Rachel and Nico, so you guys should read it. I will link it down below. And then notice Godwin, he tells Jason, when the choice comes between storm or fire, remember me. So now I feel like he's gonna play a big part in the 5th book. I don't know, but we'll see what comes of him. And then there's this really cute part with Percy when he's like, sons and daughters. Wow, like even though he was in Tartarus, he was like, Percy kind of had this epiphany in his head, you know, like, I could have sons and daughters with Annabeth. And that was just a really, really cute moment for me. I was like, yes, you can have sons and daughters, and they're gonna be so cute and so powerful. And yeah, and this was also really funny because when I imagined House of Hades and the Doors of Death, I was imagining like double wooden doors that you had to push, and it ends up being an elevator, like an elevator in Mount Olympus. And I thought that was kind of like a really cool like comparison. I always thought that someone would have to stay behind, someone would have to die because of the doors, that someone had to close the doors, but then it turns out they just had to hold the up button for 12 minutes. And it was really cool because I think it was Percy that asked, he was like, why 12 minutes? And then I forgot who replied, but someone was like, well, why 12 titans? Why 12 gods? You know, no one knows. So 12 minutes. Okay, and then let's talk about Bob. I really don't remember Bob. I didn't remember him from the past books. I haven't read any of the books since last year when I read Mark of Athena. So I really didn't have like this recollection of him, but I fell in love with Bob. He's so cute, and the way he talked, he's like, I am Bob, and I'm just like, oh, you're so adorable. And he really, really helped Percy and Annabeth in Tartarus, and if it wasn't for him, I really don't think Percy and Annabeth would have lived. But also, if it weren't for Nico, Bob would have never came down. And then there was this part where I really like kind of teared up, because Percy and Annabeth were going up the elevator. They were like, Percy was just like, oh, like, Bob, like, I can't believe I left him, and this, and then Annabeth just like, yeah, I know, but this is just another one of those sacrifices that we have to make. And it's really sad because, you know, he promised Bob and also Damison, I think that's his name, that they would be able to see the stars and the sun and all that again. And then Bob's like, just say hello for the stars. Percy's like, yeah. And that was how the book ended. Because in the end, he was like, Bob says hello, and he says it to the stars. I'm just like, full circle, you know? Another thing with Nico, I forgot what the conversation was about, but he was telling Percy, you know, Nico was like, not giving people a second thought, that can be dangerous. And it made me think of Nico, and it also made me think of Bob and Calypso. And you know, like, Percy is kind of really loyal to a fault, but there have been times when he has abandoned some people and made promises, and he couldn't keep those promises. So overall, House of Hades, dang, 5 stars, man. It was a really, really good book. It made me love Percy Jackson even more. And you know, now there's kind of like this thought in my head that, holy crap, Percy Jackson, like, his whole story ends next year. I mean, unless Rick Riordan wants to continue, which, go ahead, mister. Like, I am totally on that bandwagon. Go ahead, write more Percy. But I really think someone is going to die in the next book. I kind of can't make any predictions, but I'm pretty sure someone is going to die. I really hope it's not Nico, or if it is Nico, at least I want him to kind of have some closure within himself, and that I want him to be happy. Happy in a way that not that he finds love, but he kind of realizes that he finally belongs, and that there's really people that care for him. I don't want Leo to die. I'm sorry, Jason, but if between you and Leo, if the world had to come down to it, I wish it was Jason. Because I love Leo. I want his love story with Calypso to continue. So I hope you guys like this book rant. I will be coming up with Allegiant soon. Book 2. Woo. That's what this channel is going to be mostly about now, because I have so much to say about all these books. And then I hope you guys are here. And subscribe, please, if you like this. I only have like 23 subscribers, but oh well. I like doing what I do. And hopefully I will start doing this now and not, you know, slack off. So I hope you guys like this book rant. And my favorite quote from the book was from Nico. He says, "Not giving people a second thought, that can be dangerous." And it really is. That was a really good quote that I loved from this book. So until next time, hope you guys like this, and I will see you in my next video / book rant, whatever it is. Okay, bye!